Good morning, everybody. I am Dr. Sushma Shukla from MTB Arts College, Surat. I am glad to say that MTB Arts College is the only single faculty arts college in Gujarat to be accredited with A grade by NAC. Today I have with me Gargi.
Good morning.
And Nidhi.
Good morning.
To discuss some basic concepts of prosody. Now, before we go into the technical details of prosody, let us first look at two examples on the screen. Both the examples have been taken from poems. Nidhi, will you recite the stanza on the screen?
Little boy, full of joy, little girl, sweet and small, cock does crow, so do you, merry voice, infant noise.
How sweet! Gargi, try the other one on the screen.
The girl in the tea shop is not so beautiful as she was. The August has worn against her. She does not get up the stairs so eagerly. Yes, she also will turn middle-aged.
Right. Friends, did you find any difference between the two? Little boy full of joy, little girl sweet and small. We feel some rhythm in this. Whereas in the second example, the girl in the tea shop is not so beautiful as she was. Now this sounds like a prose passage, whereas the first one, it sounds exactly like twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. This is the rhythm. We feel the rhythm in a poem when there is some meter used in that poem. Meter, that is what we call in Gujarati chand. And prosody is a study of meters in English. Prosody is a part of the syllabus in most of the universities of Gujarat. Now, what are the students supposed to do in the prosody section? Students have to find out the basic rhythm in the poem and to find out the variations used in that poem. Now, so the technical definition of prosody, let us see on the screen. Prosody is the study of verse form, its rhythm and patterns in relation to the structure of meaning in a poem. So prosody is concerned with rhythm, patterns, and it also has some relation to the meaning of the poem. Thus, again on the screen, prosody in simple words means the systematic study of versification. It explains to us various patterns of rhythm in poetry. Now, as I told you, it is the process of finding out meter or the base rhythm. The process is called scansion. The term meter suggests measurement. For example, as we measure a piece of cloth in centimeters and meters, how many centimeters long or how many meters long. Similarly, in scansion, in prosody, we measure the length of line, and the units of measurement are syllables and feet. Syllable is the smaller unit and foot is a longer unit of measurement. So thus, the first step, please see on the screen, the first step in scansion is to count the number of syllables in the lines of the stanza given to us. Now, how to count the number of syllables? The number of syllables depends on the number of vowel sounds in that particular line. Remember friends, the number of vowel sounds and not vowel letters. Normally we are taught that in English there are 5 vowels: A, E, I, O and U. This is half truth. Actually, A, E, I, O and U are vowel letters, but pronunciation depends on vowel sounds. See, for example, again on the screen, the word C. It has 2 vowel letters, E and A. But we are in Prosody concerned with the pronunciation of this letter, and that's why we have to look at the phonetic script of the word C. In the phonetic script of C, we find only one vowel sound, that is long E. Thus, the word C has only one vowel sound, and that's why only one syllable. This is the way we have to count the number of syllables in lines. Let us try with some examples. Gargi, will you try the first one?
A thing of beauty is a joy forever.
Yes. How many syllables do we find in this line?
A thing of beauty is a joy forever. 11 syllables.
Right. The line has 11 syllables. What about the next one, Nidhi?
The sparkling dewdrops will not stay. 8 syllables.
8 syllables. Right. So this is the way we count the number of syllables in lines. We have already started the process of scansion. The second step in scansion, I will show you on the screen. The second step is to mark the syllables as stressed or unstressed. Remember, every syllable is either stressed or unstressed. Stress is a specific characteristic of English language. And there are certain marks for stressed and unstressed syllables. See this. The mark for stressed syllable is a slanting line, and the mark for unstressed syllables is a cross. There is another way of marking the syllables also, as is shown here in the next step. Words also have stress pattern, as we have here, for example, on the screen again. The monosyllabic words have no problem at all as far as stress is concerned, because monosyllabic words means words that have only one syllable. So naturally that syllable is stressed. Look at the examples. Read. It has only one vowel sound, E, long E, and that's why it is stressed. Cut. Again only one vowel sound, which is stressed. But when we have more than one syllable in words, then we have to see which syllable to stress and which syllable is not to be stressed. For example, beauty. This word has 2 syllables, and which is stressed, Gargi?
The first syllable.
The first syllable. Beauty. This is the way we pronounce this word. We don't say beauty. It means that the first syllable is stressed and the second syllable is unstressed. Similarly, divide. Nidhi, how many syllables are there?
2 syllables.
Yes. And which is the stressed one?
Second syllable.
Right. We don't say divide. We say divide. Thus, the second syllable is stressed. Harmony. A word with 3 syllables, where we stress the first one. This is the way in which every word is stressed in English language. Now these are separate words, but when words are put in continuous speech, either in a line of a poem or in a sentence in a prose paragraph, then again the stress pattern changes. Look at this example. Nidhi, try to read this sentence with equal stress on every syllable of every word.
I went to the library yesterday.
How funny, right? This is not the way we usually speak. It was difficult to read like this. Then what is the usual way? Gargi, will you try it?
I went to the library yesterday.
Right. I went to the library yesterday. This sentence has 6 words, but we are not stressing all the words. Which are the words do we stress? Went, library, yesterday. And I, to, and the, these 3 words we don't stress. Why this distinction? See, the words that is went, library and yesterday carry some meaning in themselves. If I say only this much, went, library, yesterday, we don't get the complete meaning, and still we understand at least something. We know what was the action going, and that too in the past because it is went. We also understand where, library. We also know when, yesterday. So some meaning we get even by these 3 words. But if I say I to the, then we don't understand anything at all. These words are important for the grammatical structure of the sentence. Without them, the sentence will be incorrect grammatically. It means that words are divided in 2 categories. The words that carry the meaning in themselves are called content words. Look at the definition. In continuous speech, content words, that is, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, and verbs are stressed. Whereas structure words, that is, articles, prepositions, pronouns, etc., are normally not stressed. So this is the first rule that we have to remember in continuous speech, that is, in our scansion in prosody, we are supposed to stress content words and not structure words. Now content words also may have more than 1 syllable, as we have here on the screen. Then what to do? Then content words are to be stressed as per the stress pattern of that particular word. If there is a word decay in our line, then we stress the second syllable and the first syllable will remain unstressed. Darkness, then again dark is stressed and ness remains unstressed. Look at some examples of continuous speech by putting stress on them. See on the screen. Another rule we also have to remember that in words with prefixes and suffixes, the root word is to be stressed, not the prefix or the suffix. For example, doubtful. We don't say doubtful, we say doubtful, because doubt is the root and full is a suffix. So we have to stress doubt. Inactive. Here again, the prefix and the suffix are not stressed and the root word is stressed. Now, look at the examples and we try to stress words in continuous speech. Nidhi, try the first one.
Behold the morning sun.
Yes, behold the morning sun. Gargi, try the next one.
The curfew tolls the knell of parting day.
Yes. See friends, we have stressed only the content words here, and all the structure words like the and of are not stressed. So this was the second step in our scansion. Content words stressed and structure words unstressed. Now let us go further in the process. The next step is to divide the lines into feet as per the rhythmic pattern created by the arrangement of stressed and unstressed syllables. In a continuous speech, as we know now, we stress certain words and we don't stress some other words. Now it is very likely that the arrangement of these stressed and unstressed words make a pattern. And if it is a regular pattern, it becomes a specific rhythm, that is a specific meter. Look at the screen again. Nidhi, recite the stanza on the screen.
In time we see that silver drops the craggy stones make soft. The slowest snail in time we see doth creep and climb aloft.
Right. Gargi, do you find any regular rhythm here?
Yes.
What is that?
Unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed.
Yes. See friends, the way in this stanza, unstressed syllables and stressed syllables are put together, we get a regular pattern. What is the pattern? We have one unstressed syllable immediately followed by one stressed syllable. This is the regular rhythm, except in the second line, in the end of the line, make soft. This is the only example where we have two stressed syllables together. Otherwise, everywhere the same regular pattern is repeated. It means that we have some regular rhythm. We can divide these lines into different units. And what will be the unit? A unit of two syllables, where the first syllable is unstressed and the second syllable is stressed. This is the way we can divide the stanza into different units. In time, that becomes one unit. We see, again one unit. That sill, the third unit. Verb drops, fourth unit. So this is the way we can divide the whole stanza into different units. And remember, every unit is called a foot. As we have already seen, foot is a unit of measurement in English prosody. And thus, in English prosody, one way of deciding the meter in a stanza is by counting the number of feet in the lines of a particular stanza. Let us count the number of feet. In time we see how many feet are there in the first line, Gargi?
4.
Right. 4 units, 4 feet. How many units in the second line, Nidhi?
3.
3 units. It means it has 3 feet. So if we look at the arrangement of feet in this stanza, then it becomes 4, 3, 4, 3. So this is the way we count the number of feet, and the rhythm depends on that. If there is only 1 foot, as it is shown in the screen, if there is only 1 foot in a line, it is called monometer. If there are 2 feet in one line, it is called dimeter. 3 feet in a line, trimeter. 4 feet in a line, tetrameter. 5 feet, pentameter. 6 feet, hexameter. So this is one way of deciding the rhythm in a stanza. Here, the third step of scansion is over. The first step was counting the number of syllables in a line. The second step was to stress the syllables. The third step was to see the arrangement of syllables and thereby dividing the lines into feet. Now the next step is to decide the base rhythm. The arrangement of stressed and unstressed syllables give us a particular regular rhythm. So now the next step is to decide the base rhythm in the stanza. What is base rhythm? Base rhythm is the rhythmic pattern found in the maximum number of feet in the stanza. Say, as we saw in our example. In our example, we have total 16 feet, right? And out of 14 feet. And out of all these feet, only 1 foot is different. That is, make soft. Otherwise, all the feet have the same rhythm. A rhythm of 2 syllables, first unstressed syllable and second stressed syllable. So, this becomes the base rhythm. The rhythm is called iambic. Iamb is a foot of 2 syllables in which the first syllable is unstressed and the second syllable is stressed. The foot is iamb and the rhythm is iambic. Iambic is the most commonly used rhythm in English prosody. Remember, in English prosody, there are only 4 base rhythms. One we have already seen, that is iambic. The other is trochee. Trochee is a foot of 2 syllables where the first syllable is stressed and the second syllable is unstressed. Look at the example. Nidhi, try it.
Willows whiten, aspen squeeve, little breezes dusk and shiver.
Yes, willows whiten. Everywhere we have a unit of 2 syllables with first syllable stressed and the second syllable unstressed. The third base rhythm in English is enapist. Enapist is a foot of 3 syllables where the first and the second syllables are unstressed and the third syllable is stressed. Will you try, Gargi?
I am monarch of all I survey. My right there is none to dispute.
Right. I am monarch of all I survey. We have a very regular rhythm except in the first foot of the second line. It is another rhythm. What is it, Nidhi?
Iamb.
Right. It is an iambic foot. Otherwise, all the feet have the same rhythm, which is enapistic. A foot of 3 syllables, the first and the second unstressed, and the third syllable is stressed. And the last base rhythm in English is dactyl. Dactyl is a foot with 3 syllables, where the first and the second syllable first is stressed and the second and the third syllables are unstressed. For example, Gargi, try it.
Touch her not scornfully, think of her mournfully.
Yes, touch her not scornfully. We have the units of 3 syllables each, where the first syllable is stressed and the second and the third syllables are unstressed. Remember again, English prosody has only 4 base rhythms: iambic, trochaic, enapistic and dactylic. Now, these rhythms can be divided into 2 categories as per the arrangement of stressed and unstressed syllables. when the rhythm begins with an unstressed syllable and that syllable is followed by a stressed syllable, it is called a rising rhythm. Right? Beginning with unstressed syllable and then followed by stressed syllable. Thus the rhythm will be 1-2-1-2 or 1-1-2-1-1-2, rising from unstressed to stressed. In this way, iambic and anapaestic rhythms are rising rhythms. As opposed to that, when the rhythm begins with a stressed syllable and that syllable is followed by an unstressed syllable, it is called a falling rhythm. Right? Beginning with a stressed syllable and followed by unstressed. 1-2-1-2-1-2 or 1-2-2-1-2-2-1-2-2. This has a falling effect. So in this way, trochaic and dactylic rhythms are falling rhythms. So here the discussion of bass rhythms is over, and that way we have covered 4 steps in scansion. Now only one remains. See, we have some bass rhythm in every stanza. But imagine a stanza with the same rhythm repeated throughout it. 1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2. It becomes monotonous. And it may happen that we may miss some important expression which actually the poet wanted us to notice. That is the reason why the poet always introduces certain changes in the bass rhythm. Look at this example. It is a stanza from a very famous poem, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Coleridge. Alone, alone, all alone. Alone on a wide, wide sea. And never a saint took pity on my soul in agony. The bass rhythm in the rime of the Ancient Mariner is iambic. But as we can see on the screen, in the overall iambic rhythm, how many changes the poet has introduced. For example, we have a foot, all. That is, both the syllables stressed. We have on a wide, which is anapaestic. We also have in the word agony, the unit ga-ni, where again we have a foot where both the syllables are unstressed. Friends, the feet in a stanza that have rhythms other than the bass rhythm are called variations or modulations. Variations or modulations draw the reader's attention to important expressions in poetry. Any bass rhythm, that is iambic, trochaic, anapaestic or dactylic, may be used as a modulation in some other rhythm, as we have in this stanza we just look at. See it again. On a wide or were a saint, these are anapaestic feet. Here they are used as modulations in the overall iambic rhythm. But besides this, there are 3 other very commonly used modulations in English that I would like to talk about today. The first is spondi. Spondi is a foot of 2 syllables where both the syllables are stressed. It is a foot with 2 syllables again where both the syllables are stressed. For example, Nidhi would give us the example.
Rocks caves, lakes, fens, bogs, danes, and shades of death.
Yes, this is a line from Milton's Paradise Lost. The overall rhythm in the poem is iambic, but here we have 3 feet. Look at the screen again. We have 3 feet where we have spondi, that is, both the syllables are stressed. This is one very important modulation commonly used in English. Another modulation is Pyrrhic. Pyrrhic is a foot with 2 syllables where both the syllables are unstressed. For example, here, Gargi, try it.
My soul in agony.
My soul in agony. Again, it is an iambic rhythm where we have one Pyrrhic foot, which is the last one, where we have a foot with 2 syllables and both the syllables are unstressed. And the third modulation is Amphibrach. Amphibrach is a foot with 3 syllables where the first and the third syllables are unstressed and the second syllable is stressed, as we have in this famous line from Hamlet. Nidhi, try it.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
Right. To be or not to be, that is the question. Again, see the screen where we have the last foot with 3 syllables. And in that foot, the first and the third syllables are unstressed and the second syllable is stressed. This is called Amphibrach. So here, the process of scansion is over. Friends, after all, meter or rhythm is a device used by a poet to convey some meaning. Every poem is an expression of some meaning or some idea, some feeling of the poet. The poet would like to convey what he feels or what he thinks to his readers. And for that, he uses different devices like diction, style, syntax, and so on. Meter is one such device. No doubt, meter or rhythm is a phonetic device. So it has a phonetic function to perform. It creates a musical effect. But besides this, it also has a semantic function to perform. The rhythm or the meter also conveys meaning. I would give an example to you how meter also can convey the meaning. You might be knowing that Shakespeare uses iambic pentameter in his tragedies. In King Lear, a very famous tragedy by Shakespeare, in the overall iambic rhythm, he introduces a line with 5 feet and all trochaic. Trochaic, as we know now, is a falling rhythm. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. When Lear sees the dead body of Cordelia, the helplessness of the pain of Lear is expressed by the use of trochee as a modulation. Never, 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 never. The way this modulation brings out the sheer helplessness of Lear, Cordelia will now never come back because she is dead. A sense of complete loss, a sense of permanent loss is brought out by the use of this modulation of trochee in the overall iambic rhythm. Scansion, it is very interesting, I suppose, isn't it?
Yes.
And not even that difficult. But anyway, we have to score marks in our examination. So let me give you some points to remember to score marks in the Scansion or the Prosody section. Exam is approaching. You must have seen the faces of Gargi and Nidhi, quite tense, difficult to smile every time. So now I will give you certain tips which will bring smile on the lips of all of you. Let us begin. When you write the stanza for Scansion in your answer book, leave some space after every line of the stanza so that you can clearly show the marks for stressed and unstressed syllables. Remember, this is very important because if you have a very clumsy kind of presentation of your Scansion, then you may lose marks even if you have done your Scansion correctly. So, leave enough space after every line and mark the syllables properly. The next that you should remember is, it is advisable to use a pencil first for marking the syllables, as you might need to change the marks after scanning the whole stanza. See, it is possible that first you feel that a particular syllable is stressed, and when you go further in your Scansion, you might feel that no, I was wrong, I would like to change my stress pattern. This will become possible if you have not done with the pen. Otherwise, it will be again very dirty and you may lose some marks. So use a pencil first and then rewrite the stress marks with a pen. Going further, scan the stanza using the following guidelines. Count the number of syllables in every line. This is the way we have looked at the process of Scansion, right? So count the number of syllables in every line. Put marks for stressed and unstressed syllables. See if the arrangement of stressed and unstressed syllables makes any pattern. Count the number of feet in lines. Find out the pattern which is used in the maximum number of feet. That is the base rhythm of that stanza. Find out modulations, if any, and underline them. So the process will be over. Remember two more points. Mention clearly the base rhythm below the stanza you have scanned, because you know that this is the base rhythm according to you. But the examiner also should know that yes, you know the rhythm. So for that, you have to mention the base rhythm very clearly below the stanza. And also mention clearly the modulations. Say what type of modulation it is. That is, if the base rhythm is iambic, for example, then what type of modulation? Is it anapaest or a trochee or maybe a spondy or a pyrrhic or amphibrach? That is the type of modulation. So say clearly the type of modulation, in which line. Suppose it is in the second line, then mention it very clearly that it is found in the second line, and not only in the line but in which foot. Because the second line, for example, may have 3 feet. Then which is the foot where we find the modulation. So ultimately, our answer in the answer book would look like this. See the screen. What have we done here? This is the answer of Scansion in our examination. We have counted the number of syllables, 8, 6, 8, 6. We have put marks for stressed and unstressed syllables. We have divided lines into feet. That way we have 4, 3, 4, 3. We have decided the base rhythm, which we have very clearly mentioned below. Base rhythm, iambic tetrameter and trimeter. Why tetrameter? Because the first and the third lines have 4 feet each. So that becomes tetrameter. And the second and the fourth lines, they have 3 feet each. So they become trimeter. Thus the base rhythm in the stanza is iambic tetrameter and trimeter. We have also found the modulation in the stanza. We have already underlined it in the stanza, make soft. And we also mentioned it separately after mentioning the base rhythm. Modulation. What type? Spondi. Which line? Second line. And which foot? Third foot. So this is the way we answer the scansion or meter or rhythm in the prosody section. Friends, prosody is a technical aspect in poetry. So it needs practice. Decide to practice at least one stanza from any traditionally written poem every day. And you will be very absolutely confident by the day of your examination. Start it today and best of luck.